Inside Princess Anne's rocks life and his pivotal role at 70, Sir Timothy Laurence. After an inauspicious start to their marriage, Sir Timothy Laurence and Princess Anne have grown to become one of Britain's most famous royal couples. The sturdy Vice Admiral Sir Timothy Laurence has been Princess Anne's rock for decades, quietly supporting his wife of more than 30 years at important royal functions and during challenging personal times. But what is his backstory? Among his many attributes, the former Royal Navy commander is described as trustworthy, kind, and good-humored. He has even been lovingly called to as the Invisible Man by some, since he always supports Britain's most diligent royal without ever taking the stage. Without his assistance, which has been crucial, Anne would not have been able to continue her 400 to 500 appearances annually, according to seasoned royal novelist and journalist Phil Dampier. He has supported her through some really trying times and is without a doubt her rock. Prince Philip died in April 2021 while coronavirus restrictions were still in effect, and the magnificent Queen Elizabeth II died a little more than a year later. The Princess Royal, 74, has lost both of her parents in recent years. He was constantly beside his wife for both funerals, offering much-needed support at a crucial time. In the greatest way she could, she remained composed and continued to help her family during their unexpected health crisis last year. As many might anticipate, Anne has handled the hardships of the last 4 years with composure and emotionlessness. After all, she is essentially her mother's daughter. When Sir Tim discovered her unconscious on the grounds of her Gatcombe Park estate last June, she was admitted to the hospital with a severe concussion and a little head injury. That was the real test. A royal insider claimed that he was extremely worried about her, and because of his prompt action, she was treated promptly after arriving at the hospital. Although Anne doesn't remember anything that happened to her that Sunday afternoon, doctors think she was kicked by a horse and suffered a brain injury. During her visit to South Mid Hospital in Bristol, Sir Tim brought her familiar items, including a cooler bag filled with treats from home. Richard Fitzwilliams, a royal analyst, said he handled press queries with ease, speaking to his ability to keep the media informed about her condition. When Sir Tim visited the hospital every day, he would tell them she's doing fine. The experience is said to have left Princess Anne startled and served as a sobering reminder that every day is a bonus, but she returned to work after 2 weeks. In an interview after her 2-day trip to South Africa in January, she talked about the incident, saying, "It just reminds you, shows you, you never quite know. Something happens, and you might not recover." She disclosed that she had intensive care treatment during her 5-night stay at the hospital last month when she went back to express her gratitude to the medical team. Despite what Mr. Dampier refers to as an inauspicious start, Sir Tim has been his wife's and her family's pillar of support for a long time. Following in his father's footsteps, Sir Tim, who grew up in Kent, had a remarkable career in the Royal Navy, rising through the ranks fast. He was a 4-warship commander, a Ministry of Defense employee, and even Queen Elizabeth's equerry for 3 years, where he met her daughter. At the time, Annie was still married to Captain Mark Phillips, who was the father of her 2 children, Peter Phillips and Zara Tyndall. Despite their seldom public appearances together, the public was aware of their separation. Sir Tim and Princess Anne first became acquainted while he was serving as an equestrian on the Royal Yacht Britannia. Their relationship was made public in April 1989 when media obtained letters from the then commander that had been taken from Anne's briefcase. Buckingham Palace merely declared the love letters to be personal letters sent by a friend, and they were never published. Since Sir Tim had an affair with the Queen's daughter, it sparked a furor, and some fervent royalists even demanded that he be punished for treason. The naval officer, who was then residing in Winchester, was told by those close to him that Anne had paid him a visit at his house. Captain Mark Phillips and the princess parted ways soon after. During Queen Elizabeth's Annus Horribilis in April 1992, Anne discreetly revealed her connection with Sir Tim following their divorce, and a month later, they made their public debut. They married in a low-key ceremony at Crathie Parish Church, close to Balmoral, Scotland, on December 12, 1992. Anne was the first member of the royal family to remarry following a divorce, having done so since Henry VI wed Anne Boleyn in 1533. Her parents and 3 siblings were among the only 30 people who attended, as the couple aimed to stay out of the spotlight following a year of royal scandals. When they got married in 1992, it was a really strange wedding with just a handful of people there, Mr. Dampier stated. It seemed as though they were concealed. The commencement was unlucky since it occurred during the Annus Horribilis, when there were several scandals involving Andrew, Fergie, and Charles and Diana. They seemed to be trying to hide it from everyone. After a fairly unlucky beginning, he has quietly and diligently toiled in the background to support Princess Anne and establish his own career, first in the Navy and then later with the War Graves Commission. However, his primary responsibility has been to be there for her. After serving in the Navy for 37 years, Sir Tim retired in 2010 to concentrate on non-executive and philanthropic endeavors. Despite never having worked for the company, he has held important positions as chairman of the Science Museum Group, trustee of the Royal National Lifeboat Institution and HMS Victory, and chairman of English Heritage from 2015 to 2022. Additionally, he spent 8 years serving as vice chairman of the Commonwealth War Graves Commission, a position Mr. Dampier called hugely important. Queen Elizabeth awarded him a KCVO and the Order of the Bath, and he frequently appeared on the Buckingham Palace balcony. Recognizing his service, Mr. Fitzwilliam says, "He is modest and unassuming, which is exactly what he and Princess Anne need." Sir Tim was invited to join the senior members of the firm on the balcony of Buckingham Palace, despite not being a working royal, as a show of the late Queen's affection for him. He mentioned how easy he was able to fit into the royal fold because of his background as an equestrian, adding, "Queen Elizabeth was extremely happy that Anne found a stable partner after the failure of her first marriage. Because he understood protocol and how to behave around them, he was able to fit in well with the family, who all adore him." Sir Tim's chameleon-like nature allowed him to blend in with the royal family without causing a ripple, according to Anne's biographer Brian Hoey. Sir Tim has developed a deep bond with Anne's 2 children over the years, despite the fact that he is childless. In a documentary celebrating the 70th birthday of the Princess Royal, Peter lavished Sir Tim with accolades for his steadfast support of his mother. He said, "He's been a very strong support for her, and the two both understand what being a part of the wider family means and what is required. They succeed because they are both map and chart people," according to Sir Tim, who made this statement on ITV's Anne, the Princess Royal at 70. He elaborated, "We like to know where we are and see where we are going." Their shared lifestyle is more typical of domestic living than royal grandeur at their 700-acre Gloucestershire estate. They both adore sailing, yachting, and rugby, and as Anne has been a longtime supporter of Scottish rugby, Sir Tim and his wife are frequently seen in the stands supporting the team, even if they don't share a love of horses. Buckingham Palace published a photo of the pair during lockdown, showing them watching rugby on an antique TV in a room filled with books, decorations, and other commonplace items. And it is believed that the two are celebrating Sir Tim's 70th birthday there today, the modest, intimate gathering with their closest loved ones, for a man who has never liked being in the spotlight. Sir Tim has been by Anne's side almost constantly over the years, and as the 5-time grandmother doesn't seem to be slowing down, this will only continue. She responded, "I don't think there's a retirement program on this particular life," when asked if she intended to reduce her responsibilities. However, her husband won't mind because he will continue to assist Anne for many years to come with his unwavering love, laughter, dedication, and support.